What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and as we know, CBS has effectively leaked the trailer for Supergirl online, and I imagine they've probably done this to kind of gauge reaction to it to see how people feel about it so far, and that's what I want to do here. I want to talk in this show or in this video rather about Kara, or I guess Kara Zor-El herself, about the character of Supergirl, but I also want to talk about a couple of the Easter eggs that we get and some of the characters that have been recast because there's some interesting recasts and some interesting creations that have been made for the sake of this TV show. So, starting out with Kara Zor-El herself, the way she's introduced to us, she, of course, is again the cousin of Superman, of Clark Kent, or I guess of Kal-El. She was sent after him for the purpose of protecting him when he had been sent away by Jor-El in order to escape the fate of planet Krypton. In addition to this, she was locked into the Phantom Zone for a little while. She managed to escape, at which point she landed on the planet Earth, and she got there when she was about 12. Now, we're not exactly told how it was this had happened, but somehow or another, she had ended up with her foster family. Now, this is where things kind of take a little bit of a turn. Rather than her being the only member of her family, the only daughter of her adoptive family, instead, they've basically cast a woman named Alex Danvers to be her sister. Now, Alex Danvers appears to be the biological daughter of these two parents, with Kara Zor-El being the adoptive daughter. Now, as far as I've been able to tell, Alex Danvers doesn't exist in DC Comics. She's not there, and so I could be wrong here. Again, forgive my knowledge about my lack of knowledge, I guess, about DC Comics, but it seems as though she's simply been created for the TV show, which isn't a bad thing because her character is actually pretty decent. She doesn't really do a whole lot. She does later on, but the way she's initially given to us, it's quite clear that the star of the show is Kara Zor-El, is Supergirl. Now, having said that, we get a couple Easter eggs here. The mother of Kara Zor-El, the adoptive mother, is actually the same woman that played Supergirl in the original film, and the adoptive father is Dean Cain. He's the guy that played Superman in the Adventures of Lois and Clark, and so I'm really, really excited about that. I think it's kind of cool. Hopefully Dean Cain and the woman get more involvement as the show goes on. They weren't really given, we didn't get their names, and so it may just be that we're just never going to see them again. I don't really know here. I hope we do. Because again, the Kents played a very prominent role in the life of Superman, and so I'm hoping that we're also going to see the Danvers play a very prominent role in the life of Kara Zor-El, and that I think is where things start to take a change. I want to talk about this for a second. I want to talk about the character of Supergirl here in terms of how she exists. Initially, and I think this was the concern of a lot of people when the pilot came out, that we were basically going to see the introduction of a knockoff Superman. People were going to say, well, she's not really Superman, but they need a show about somebody who's like Superman, so we'll just get Supergirl and whatever, nobody will ask questions. That's not the case. Those of you ladies out there who are looking for a Supergirl who was strong and who was confident, who had a little bit of doubt about her skills in the beginning, but over time gains the confidence to use her skills effectively. Those of you ladies out there who were looking for a female superhero, that's a reflection of what it means to be a woman in society today, a woman in the workplace, different things like that, the kind of struggles that go along with it. You're going to love this show. This show is so going to be for you. It really gives you an honest depiction, at least as far as I can tell from a man's perspective, what it means to be a woman in society today. Having said that, we actually get these dichotomies of feminism, and this is what I really, really like here. Calista Flockhart is cast as the boss of, or I guess the head of Cat Corporation, the boss of Kara Zor-El in this TV series, and Calista Flockhart represents this sort of militant feminism, whereas Kara Zor-El represents this sort of equal feminism, and there's a big deal, there's a big difference between the two, and of course I think a lot of people are going to latch on to the Kara Zor-El version of feminism, where they simply say it's not about being overpowering, it's not about being dominant, it's about being equal, and that's what I really, really like here. What we also get is a recasting of Jimmy Olsen. Now, the recasting of Jimmy Olsen is done very tastefully here. Again, what we've basically seen is CBS taking into account that Kara Zor-El needs to be able to stand on her 2 feet. She needs to be the star of the show. And so Jimmy Olsen is cast in a way to where he's really more of a guide, where he basically says, here's the things your cousins figured out, or that your cousin figured out while he became a superhero in Metropolis. Because remember, Jimmy Olsen was there every step of the way from the time that Kal-El first arrived in Metropolis to the time that he became a superhero, became Superman in Metropolis. Now, of course, Jimmy Olsen wasn't aware for a good majority of the time that Clark Kent and Superman were the same person, but nonetheless, he was there to watch the character grow as time progressed. And so he basically passed this knowledge on to Supergirl to basically say, here's the steps your cousin took. He wants you to grow on your own. That's really cool, the cool thing here. I mean, we see a couple instances of Superman. We actually see Superman appear a couple times. We don't really see his face. There's no character that's been, or no actor that's been assigned to his role in the sense that we'll see him as a mainstay. It's really just sort of giving credence to the fact that she's equal to Superman, which is a really cool concept here. Having said that, the show itself gives us a couple changes. For example, Vartox, I think his name was. In the comics, he's a superhero. He's a good guy. He fights on behalf of Superman, fights with Superman. In a couple instances, he's actually more powerful than Superman. It really kind of depends on who's writing him and the circumstances and so on. In this show, he's a villain. And so the way that the villains have been given to us are really kind of shaky here. Basically, what they say is there is a prison in the Phantom Zone, and when they manage to get out of the Phantom Zone, they basically show up on the planet Earth, and they've kind of spread across the Earth, which gives us the basis behind the first season of the show. She's going to be traveling around, rounding up villains. Not really sure how I feel about that. It's kind of... Oh, okay. Well, Sal sent me a message on Skype, so it's kind of thrown in there. It feels like the basis for the villains is just kind of slammed in there, like they weren't really sure where to go with villains, so they just kind of said, let's just have her be a big fishnet and just round up all these different villains. Not a bad thing. It depends on how they play them out. It depends on the villains that we're going to see. But the fact remains here that in terms of it being a pilot, with it being a show that, or I guess being a pilot that establishes the basis of the show, this show has a lot of great potential. It really has a Green Arrow / Flash feel to it, in the sense that it feels much like those pilots, but it also feels like it'll go the same direction. And this is what I really like, because the Flash and Green Arrow have been stellar shows. They've been amazing. I mean, Stephen Amell has been unbelievable, in the role of Green Arrow, and Flash is no different. So, I'm really hoping that we continue this trend. I'm really hoping we continue to see it go the same way. Now, having said that, for you guys out there, for the fellas, the gentlemen, if you are looking for beautiful women in a TV show, you get it. You get that. You get beautiful women in a TV show. I don't mean to say that to minimalize, to marginalize men into believing that all they want are gorgeous women, but they are definitely very attractive. The Supergirl in her outfit is definitely very attractive, and so that will definitely appeal to a lot of the younger crowd, to a lot of the younger boys. But nonetheless, for those who are going into it, looking for a strong, confident woman who is learning as she goes along, stepping into the role of Supergirl, that's what you get. For those of you who are looking for a really solid plot, you get that to a degree. But again, this is just a pilot. There's a lot of time to make improvement. The show can be very, very long, and there's plenty of room to grow here. So I would not, by any stretch of the imagination, discount the show based on what we see in the pilot so far. And of course, for those of you guys who are looking for strong male figures, those of you guys who are looking for familiar faces, Jimmy Olsen and so on, you get that. And so this is a really well-crafted and very well-rounded TV show so far, I think. So with that being said, we're going to bring this video to an end. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, let me know. And I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
But we had one more important sound we wanted you to hear.